Okay, 6th grade, 7.4 dividing fractions, page 362 in the book. And these can get a little bit confusing, but hang on there with me. Okay, a reciprocal is like when you take a fraction, which is 3/4, the reciprocal means you just flip it over. So the reciprocal of 3/4 would be 4/3. The reciprocal of 1/2 would be 2/1. The reciprocal of 3, now it has to be a fraction before you can flip it over, so you make it a fraction and then flip it over. So before you can flip it, you have to make it a fraction. So when a number is in fraction form, the reciprocal is when you flip it over. So when a number is in fraction form, the reciprocal is when you flip it over. Okay, so example number 1, we're going to practice just plain writing reciprocals. So the reciprocal for 4/7 is 7/4. Okay, now the check is, to check it, if you multiply a fraction and its reciprocal, it is always going to be 1. So you get 28/28, which is 1. Okay, so first they want you to okay, so write 10 as a fraction, 10/1. Flip it over, which would be 1/10. So check it, 10/1 times 1/10 is 10/10, which is 1. So this is not a fraction. We can't flip anything over yet. So it's 11/8. Now flip it over, and then you would get 88/88 when you multiply it, which is equal to 1. Okay, so what's the reciprocal of 1/2? 2/1, or just 2. What's the reciprocal of 6? 6 is not a fraction. Make it a fraction, then flip it over. 1/6. 1 is not a fraction. 1/1. Flip it over. 1/1. So actually 1 is the only number that the reciprocal is the same as the number. Okay, not a fraction yet, so that'd be 7/5. We have not flipped anything over, so the reciprocal is 5/7. Okay, so now we're ready to divide. I guess you can probably figure out that dividing fractions has something to do with the reciprocal, or we wouldn't have been practicing that. So here's dividing fractions. First, to divide a fraction, you multiply by its reciprocal. Okay, I'm going to add to this. I want you to put something down. Let's do this in steps. Okay, so here's the numbers 2/3 divided by 3/4. Okay, so instead of dividing, what this is going to tell us to do is to change it to a multiplication problem. So here's how you do it. Number 1, this is the first step. Okay, you make sure that the numbers are all in fraction form, always. So first I look at them, that's a fraction, that's a fraction. Okay, so we go to number 2. First fraction stays the same. That's the first thing. So you write 2/3, it stays the same. Third step, change the division to a multiplication, which here's the rule, it means you multiply. So we change it to multiplication. The fourth one is you take the reciprocal of the second fraction, which means you flip it. But only the second one, and only if it's division to begin with. So we're going to write that as 4/3. Then last, you just multiply. And then simplify. Always with fractions, you should always check to simplify. Now multiplying here, you see if you can cancel. I can't. And the answer is 8/9. Okay, so look at those steps. Write those down in your key concept. Even though they're not in the book, I would like you to write those down. That's taking these words right here and making them step by step for you. Okay, so the algebra, let's see, a over b divided by c over d. Okay, so they're in fractions. First fraction stays the same, so a over b. Change it to multiplication, flip the second fraction over, and then multiply. So it would be a times d over b times c. Okay, so get those steps down. Refer back to those steps so you can use those. Example number 2 then. Dividing. An underground boat ride in Howell Caverns in New York is 1/4 of a mile long. The ride takes 1/3 of an hour. Find the average rate of travel. So rate in the distance formula, rate actually, if you look in the solution, it says rate equals, I'll put it right here, rate equals distance divided by time. So what's the distance? 1/4 of a mile divided by 1/3 of an hour. Okay, so we go back to our steps. First, are they in fractions? Yes. First fraction stays the same. Change the division to a multiplication. Flip the second fraction over, then multiply. So the average rate of travel is 3/4 miles per hour. There's the flipping it over and the answer putting in there. How can you share 3/4 pound of granola equally among 6 people? Remember, when you share stuff like that, you would divide. So you have the granola and you're going to divide it up amongst 6 people. So the first thing says write everything as fractions. 3/4 is a fraction. 6 will make it 6 over 1. So we go. First fraction stays the same. Change division to a multiplication. Flip the second fraction over. Can't look at 3 and 6. 3 goes into 3 once. 3 goes into 6 2 times. So each person can get 1/8 pound of granola. Cancel. See, they're going to cancel it out just like we did. 1/8 pound. 3/4 cup serves 1 person. How many people does 6 cups serve? 3/4 pound serves 1 person. How many people does 6 cups serve? So 6, I want to know how many 3/4 are in 6. So 6 divided by 3/4 in this case. 6 over 1, first fraction stays the same. Change to multiplication. Flip the second one over. Cancel out the 6 and the 3 by factoring out a 3, excuse me. 3 goes into 3 once. 3 goes into 6 2 times. So that would be 8 people, which is just the opposite of what we did, I believe. Yep. Okay, so let's divide. Remember, fractions, you look at them, they're fractions. So we do those steps. First fraction stays the same. Change to multiplication, flip the second fraction over, then we multiply. So we get 15 over 32. And that can't reduce, I don't think. Nope. First fraction stays the same. Change it to multiplication, flip it over. Now the 3 and that 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 9 3 times. So the answer is 3/10. Make sure they're fractions, so 12 over 1, first fraction stays the same. Change to multiplication, flip it over. 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 12 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18 over 1, which is just 18. It takes you 1/6 of an hour to run 4/5 of a mile. What is your average rate? So that was back on example number 2. Your distance divided by time. So your distance is 4/5 of a mile. divided by your time, which was 1/6. And I didn't remember the formula. I had to look back at the example and see that. First fraction stays the same. Change it to multiplication, flip it over, nothing cancels, 24 over 5, 4 and 4/5 miles per hour, I think. Yep. All right, so the thing that's very important is to remember that you flip over that second fraction once you get them in fractions, and you only do that if it's a division problem to begin with. So when we start putting the multiplication and the division together on you don't get those mixed up and flip fractions when you're not supposed to. So have fun, and we'll see you next. Make sure you show all your work. There's a lot of work to be shown. See you next time.